Hey guys, so today I've got a deck profile for the Burning Abyss Phantom Knight Orcust deck I've got. This is a list from what I played at my Yu-Gi-Oh day. I ended up 4-1, coming third in Swiss I believe. So we're going to do a deck profile first, and then after we do a profile I'll go through my matchups, and then after that I'll do a siding strategy, and then my final thoughts on the thing. So let's just get into it. So, first of all, we got our starters. Got Tour Guide, Torn Scale, Armor Knight, Greffer, Rotor, and Foolish. In 60 cards, I feel that this is enough, especially since Scales doesn't always take your normal summon, as well as Greffer. Rotor can search out a star or extender, and Foolish is the same way with Rotor. I never felt they clogged up too much. I did miss the third Scales in some hands where I just wanted one more starter. Because there's some hands in this where one interruption kills your whole combo. Excuse me. And when you're playing through an interruption, having the Scales is better in the tour guide because you can pitch something useful off of the Scales, like a Agent Sabers, a Rhino, even just a cloak, or just something along those lines where it gets a lot of advantage in the grave. So if a Ash or impermanence this, it's fine because you still get advantage off of a discard, which can just allow you to play on. Other than that, nothing else to say about the starters, just very solid cards. And into the BA side of things, we've got one Rhino, two Seer, one Graf, one Scar, one Farfa, and one Libic. So this is my normal lineup. Still only playing one Graph. I only really need one Graph. There's times I want to banish it off of Allure, but then I can't because I only have one copy of it. And one cool thing what happened at the tournament is I Farfa'd Farfa with a signed Farfa, which I found really funny. And for those who don't know, the Farfa was playing in my Yu-Gi-Oh day, so that was quite a pleasant surprise. I played against him round 3. It was a bit of a grind, but we got there, especially with Farfa and Imperial Order, both very strong cards. There's no real changes I'll make to this. Maybe put in a cow cab if it becomes more of a back row reliant, more of a back row format where you don't really care about comboing. It's more like Altergeist, Subterrors and all that. Probably throw in a cow cab, but it's all format dependent. And we've got the one Agent Sabers as an extender. So getting into the Phantom Knights. So we had the 2 Scales from before, 3 Boots, 2 Cloak, 3 Pogblade, 1 Shade Brigandine, and 1 Rank Up Magic. Boost is very nice because you can special it onto a Scales or you can special it onto a Cloak, which happened a lot. You can even special it on itself if you open to. Fogblade, very good card. Even if you discard it off of Scales, it is just a really good extender. Shade is always nice to have the extra Dark Monster to go into Rusty. And the Rank Up Magic just makes VFD, so can't complain about that. Then into Orcust, we got the normal 3 Nightmare, 2 Skeleton, 2 Wand, Gizmek, Babble, and Crescendo. Really want to cut the Crescendo from now on because it just doesn't do enough for me. Yeah, just at most I set it and hopefully they pop it so I can get a search for one of these, but it rarely comes up. So I think in the following list this is going to be cut for something else. And then in this one, I decided to play some hand traps, but only 3 Ash in the main, because Ash is just the most versatile one, I'd say. And I was playing Impermanence before, and I just didn't like it when I was going first, because I'd rather have an Ash, because I think Ash hits more things which Imperm can't when I've already got a full blade set up. So I prefer Ash in that sense. But I do have impermanence in the side deck for when I do go second. Then extenders, we've got 3 Kagamucha, 1 of each of level 3 dangers, 1 wielder, 2 tracker, E-Teddy, and I guess Monster Reborn is classed as an extender. There's so many times where someone ashes my tour guide and I just Monster Reborn their Ash and combo off anyway. It's very funny. With this, I'd like to play maybe another 2 or 3 extenders just so I can have my plays live as much as possible. But it doesn't seem to be much of an issue for me, where I most of the time get a starter and an extender. And it also helps that 2 extenders also counts as a starter, realistically, because if you got a wielder and a tracker, you can normal one, special the other, or a tracker and a Kagamucha, normal tracker, special Kagamucha. And it's just very nice where like they all serve a purpose, and I'd probably go for another wielder, so it's a 2 and 2. I'll probably play a Nessie. You can play Terratop again, but I'm just not a big fan of it while Terratop's still at 1. But these all did their part. So no complaint on them either. Then we got some back row removal in the main deck, because this deck has a inherent weakness to Mystic Mine and Floodgates as well, realistically, so I had to throw it in there. Apologies to the Zodiac guy I played last round. I absolutely I sacked him out of anything. I had Harpy's Feather Duster for always back row, which he set 4 for. I summoned a Pank, popped his Trident, normal summon Tour Guide, made Vertake, went into Dragoon, and he couldn't out it with 0 cards, so that was very nice, but still felt a bit sacky. 3 Cosmic never really came up. Like, it was there for when I needed it, but just didn't come up against many control decks. Then we got 3 other, just generic draw power for a whole deck made of darks. And then of course we got the ever so fun package of Dragoon. So that's 60 cards. Let's go into the extra deck. We got for 1 Dante again, 1 Levier, 1 Beatrice, 1 Dingirsu, 1 Calamities, and 1 Zeus for our XCs. Can't really complain again. They all did their jobs as they normally do. I didn't go into Levier that much. I think I went into it once or twice and it was okay, but that is a flex spot in my eyes where you can cut it if you want, but when you do cut it you probably will miss it at some point. I don't think I summoned Zeus today. Oh, on the day. So it's always an option, but it just doesn't come up enough where I can say that did make a big impact in the game. Then we got the Cherubini, Barricade, Galatea, Verte, and Phoenix for our Link 2s. Can't complain again. They all did their jobs. Barricade is very good. I think that is probably out of these 5 cards, I probably went to Barricade the second most out of all 5 of these cards, which is crazy to me. For a card which says just discard 1 for cost. Crazy good, but they all did their job. Verte gets Dragoon. Galatea means that I can make VFD eventually. Barricades, it gets my normal monsters into effect monsters, and it also means I can turn non-darks into darks, realistically. Cherubini because it starts the whole deck, and then Phoenix for the spot removal. Onto Link 3s, we've got more spot removal with the Unicorn. Very nice, just link into it. You can make it after you do the Orcust stuff as well, which is very nice. It's just very generic removal. Rusty, very strong card, gets all your Phantom Lapse plays going and also makes VFD when you have the Orcust stuff available. The last 2 cards, we've got a Ball Sword and a Dragoon. I don't think I went to Ball Sword much. I think I went to it once, but I do think I can cut it now. I'd rather play a different Link 4, probably maybe an Access Code Talker or a Zero Boss, just so I can have a generic Link 4 which I can go from a Unicorn and another monster into it. Because using a Unicorn and a Dante is very nice to go into Zero Boss, to then get a BA off of Dante to then trigger the Zero Boss, let the BA die, and it just clears the field. But Ball Sword, as soon as I take it out, I know I'm going to miss it, so I'm going to keep it in there for now until something else comes up. And then Dragoon, so strong. It's a stupid card, shouldn't have been a thing. So, beside it we've got 1 Barbar, 1 Pankratops, 3 Chaos Hunter, 3 Lancia as our monsters. These 6 were for Virtual World and for anything what banishes a lot, such as Dogmatica and Vote, Lost World Dino, or Dino in general, and then just any sort of road deck which just banishes a lot inherently. They did their job when it came around to it, but I didn't side them in much. I didn't play against Virtual World, so that's probably why they didn't come in much, but they still helped. Pank was very strong when it came in, just clears threats, and it's just a very solid card overall. I think every side deck should have this, or if not on the side, in the main. It is such a strong card. And then the 1 Barber, it went in once or twice, a few times actually, but not because to burn in time. It was there because when I do go second against some decks, I do take out the whole Orcust package, just so I can have an extra BA, and it is in there for when time is called. You can just cheese out games like that, or they're down to under 900, you just win outright. So then we got 7 traps, got 3 order, 3 imperm, and 3 evenly. Evenly came in once or twice, only resolved it once. It's very good, but it just didn't do enough for me. Impermanence is nice, it just doesn't do enough in my eyes. And then Order won me the game against Farfa, I think game 3? Yeah, game 3. This just, it shut down his Chaos Space, and then after that he just couldn't really do much, especially since if he goes into Dragoonity stuff, he can't then use his Dragon Ravine or his Lance realistically because they are negated. But it came in clutch, realistically. It is probably one of the best cards in the side deck. So I'd recommend anyone who isn't playing Sky Striker to play Order. It is just that strong. So that's the deck. So going through my matchups. Round 1, it was basically a bye. The guy had some technical issues, so he had to forfeit the first round. So round 2 was against my mate John. He was playing zombies at the time. I can't remember how game 1 went, but I won that. And then game 2, it was kind of a weird one where I got into a simplified game state, and he had the Ash for my cloak, which meant I couldn't game him that turn. And because of that, I had no cards in hand, so all I had to do is use Barrel Drop to banish my Dragoon, but he was a bit tired on the day. He didn't realise that Dragoon needed a card in hand to discard, so he lost because he just didn't realise. So it was whatever. It happens sometimes. Round 3 was against Farfa, which was on a Dragon Link. So game 1, he opens up no interruptions, and I go full combo with a Dragoon, VFD, Fault Blade, and then a Pop 1 Send 1 on his turn, which was very nice. He just scooped before seeing it all because he knew he can't play through it. Game 2, he opens up an awkward hand. He makes an illegal play which we don't catch until after the match, where he summons off of a Romulus, and the monster you summon off of it can't be used as link material. So in essence, it would have been a lot closer game 2, but he wins outright because of Buster Lock is just way too strong against this deck without any outs. Then game 3, I go first. He opens up 3 hand traps. He doesn't realise I'm playing a lure, so he doesn't shotgun the Lance here. So I go lure, doesn't get me into much. Once I commit to a board a little bit, he then drops a Lance on me when I got my Phantom Knights in the grave. Then I go into Dragoon, and I go into Verte, then he Nibiru's me. So at that point I just set 3 pass. No, set 2 pass. So he starts his turn off with a Chaos Space, discarding a Gamma, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a Gamma. Then I chain order, then he chains quick launch so we can get his Tracer. So we already got rid of one card that way. Then with his Nibiru and Tracer, he decides to go into Halifibrax because if I don't have a full blade, he kind of wins them there. If I do, it kind of goes to a top deck war. So he makes Halifibrax, I flip up for full blade. He passes turn there. I draw into a Tour Guide, which just saves up my whole hand. I end up going, making Beatrice. I went Barricade Board Blocker and Dingirsu. Dingirsu send his Halifibrax because it was full bladed, so I couldn't attack. Then I make a Rusty. Uses effect, but then he gammons me, so it's a bit awkward in that situation. So I got a full blade engraved now, so I can bring it back, but it doesn't do too much at that point. So I just pass on a Beatrice. Order has now taken 1400 from me. So he's got no spells, he's got no monsters really. He's top decking. So he top decks into Black Metal Dragon, but then I use Beatrice to send the Farfa and banish his Black Metal Dragon to the end phase, and then from there I just win. So that was a very, very good game from both of us. I don't think we misplayed hardly any. It's just came down to the luck of a draw. And I won the Dyro, luckily. So round 4 was against Lost Or Dinos. This was my one loss of the day. I'm going to be honest, I kind of shat the bed with this match. Game 1, he makes me go first after he wins the Dyro. I summon Tour Guide, he ashes, I pass. Then he just gets a lot of big dinosaurs on the field and I kind of just say, there's game 2. Game 2, I decided to take out all the Orcust stuff and make him go first and side in all my removal. So, draw phase, I drop a Lancia, he then just passes on nothing. And my hand is a starter extender with a Panktops and a Red Eyes Fusion. So I thought that if you ash Red Eyes Fusion, you can summon after that, but you can't. So my whole mentality with that was very flawed, where if I just went normal summon scales and then special extender, I would have won that because he had no hand traps, he had nothing to interrupt remove. And in the following turn, he just makes a lot of big dinosaurs and kills me. So that was a massive play on my part. So, going to the last round, I'm really just playing for the X1 record and possibly second place if the tiebreakers went in my favour. So, game 1, this is against Dogmatic, I think it's Dogmatica Eldritch Zoo or Eldritch Zoo, I couldn't remember which one it was. So game 1, I just out his threats, I set up Dragoon, he can't out the Dragoon. Game 2, I Duster 4 of his back row, summon out Pank removes a Dryden, then I summon out Tour Guide, make you a Dragoon, burn for some damage and attack with a card in, like 2 or 3 cards in hand. And then he just scoops because he has no out to a Dragoon. So that was the tournament report. My siding strategy for this deck was when I was going second against a deck which I felt I needed to have hand traps at all removal for, I just took out the whole Orca stuff because drawing a Nightmare at that point is just really, it's just not nice, where it could have been a evenly, it could be an Impermanence, could be a Chaos Hunter. So when it's the time when I have to side in the Lancers and Chaos Hunters, the whole Orca stuff comes out because it raises the ceiling of this deck so much, but there's just so many bricks in the deck because of it. Other than that, there wasn't much special like Secret Spice when I was siding. Order goes in when I go first. Impermanences go in when I go second for sure. And at the end of the day, I've probably said this about 10 times now, but the deck did its job. It made stupid boards, it broke boards, and it was consistent enough. So let me know if you guys want to see anything different from this deck. Let me know if you got any recommendations for cards. Actually, I'm always happy to hear people to contradict my reasoning, because when someone has a valid point, I'm happy to listen, and hopefully we can make a better deck out of it, realistically. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.